We just a few months ago passed a time in history where now more people live in cities than in the countryside. Just want to live close. So technically what I've done is I've taken an analog camera, exposed it one time, then wind the film forward just 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little more, a little less. Exposed it again, wound it forward 1/4 of an inch again, and ended up with an image with 10 or between 10 and 50 exposures. I've traveled 1 lap around the world and exposed the whole world in 1 negative. So I've traveled from Stockholm to New York to Los Angeles, Hong Kong, Bombay, Dubai, Paris, and back to Stockholm. Where photography used to be one moment in time in history, my images are now several moments during a span of time in one image. Challenging things during this trip around the world is that I spent 12 days creating this one image and I got no feedback of how I was doing. All I knew was that I was traveling to these different cities and I had an idea in my head, approximately maybe a feeling of what was going on and how it was looking, but I actually didn't know that I was even exposing the film. Through working with these images and these overexposed, underdeveloped, weird negatives that I get from this camera, I've now realized that if you handle them right in the darkroom while you're printing, you can get colors out of these negatives that can't be found anywhere else. It's its own color scale that I'm addicted to. So basically, what I use is my 3 favorite photographic mistakes. One of them is multi-exposure. Usually it's because you have an old camera and you leave the film in there and you don't know that you used it. So that's mistake number 1 that I love and use and have perfected. Mistake number 2 is I overexpose the film. Actually, I don't overexpose the film. The fact that I layer or sandwich the film, the exposures on top of each other, make them overexposed. Third favorite mistake is that I use really bad, old, cheap cameras that have light leaks in them. So the film is damaged even before I start exposing. The light leaks are an element of chance that I welcome more than anything else. So what really struck me, maybe halfway through this trip, is that these amazing creations that we built in these major cities are actually creations that we have made ourselves by hand or by machine, but it's a human invention. And the fact that we have built all these buildings and these cityscapes just because we want to live close to each other is, to me, very beautiful.